A tense and slightly soggy Spa qualifying provided plenty of drama earlier today and left us with an unfamiliar looking grid that could provide action by the bucket load. With our reigning champion starting towards the back of the grid, could we see another legendary drive from Otmir as he chases down his arch rival? Our first race of Event 3 is set to be pure cinema, so grab your popcorn, folks, and here we have it in the studio, joined by Nicola Hume and, well, I can't believe this is actually happening, a two-time world champion. It is the one and only Brendan Lee. And well, I think we've all noticed already, I welcome you wherever you are from, sitting as far away as possible. What's going on, Nicola?
I didn't plan this seating, but we were told to just sit really far away from you due to spittage.
OK, fair enough. Well, look, hey, I tell you what, qualifying was exceptional. There was rain, there was spitting of rain. But Brendan Lee, how good was qualifying, and so lovely to have you on the show.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, but qualifying was pretty good. Typical F1 sim racing, Spa, mix-up, dry Q1, wet Q2, then dry and dashing to the line in Q3, going down to the last corner.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, you've summarised it perfectly. Thank you very much for that. But first of all, how are you? An Ferrari ambassador. I know you caught up with Nicola earlier on in the qualifying show, but all things good in your world?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I drive in circles and talk while doing it, and I get to wear red and represent my favourite brand in the world. I'm not just paid to say that, but it seems like it. It seems like it. Yeah. But I'm really, really lucky, really happy, and really fortunate for the chances I get in life.
Well, listen, that is so good to hear that you're happy. It's good to hear that drivers are ex-drivers as well who might might be tempted to come back in, but earlier on we found out he wasn't. Nicola, you caught up with Brendan. A serious moment, the OG, two-time world champ.
Well, it was really nice to catch up with you earlier, but it's also really exciting to hear what you're up to now, because you've got so much going on now that there's now a part of you that just does not want to get back in those sim rigs.
Yeah, I mean, to be open and honest about it, my performance was, well, fueled by insecurities. And my insecurities pushed me to a better performance. Once I fix those insecurities, I don't feel a need to compete anymore. And once you don't feel a need to compete, you're not going to be at that top echelon of your performance, right? So for me, it's better to know when to get off the train rather than staying too long and in many ways devaluing what I achieved in the process, you know?
Yeah, well,
Echelon as well.
Echelon,
Word of
big
the day,
words.
toilet paper.
Do you know what? That is fascinating. I could unpick this for a little while, and it is genuinely because over the years of watching you race, I'm always the host. I'm sort of miles away. You get to catch up with the drivers. That's what's going to be happening today, and it is set up perfectly for some very interesting interviews when we crown that podium later on, isn't it, Nicola?
I mean, if you get the chance to go back and watch what happened in quali earlier, I had some really good chats earlier with some of the drivers that ended up going out in Q1, Q2, etc. But it seems like the atmosphere today compared to when I did event 1 in Birmingham feels so tense in that room. And we have to talk about the fact that in quali, it is like watching a game show, because as soon as a team goes out, the lights go on, they go into darkness where they're sat. And it feels so intense in that room. It really does.
You mentioned about people catching up with quali. Absolutely, watch the whole extended highlights. But we've got an amazing team here at Formula One's Technology and Media Centre. So here's a catch-up with those highlights for you. And qualifying didn't disappoint. You've already mentioned earlier on. And this is event 2, actually. So we'll catch up there, bring everybody up to speed before we start Jeddah. Did you manage to catch some of the action, Brendan?
I did. I was watching from home with bated breath, and it was quite nice. I had my popcorn, I had my drink, and I was kicking back on my chair, leaning back for the first time. It's nice. For me, I've always been in the racing, so it's good to watch the drama unfold and know I'm not involved in it for the first time.
A 17th win for Jarno Opmis, and brilliant overtakes. He was on the mediums against Otis Lawrence in the hard tyre compound. Otis finishing P2, Ulas Ozildrim. Stay tuned with that name because he'll be coming up a little bit later on. DNF for Ismail Fassi. Then we moved on from Jeddah in event 2 to round 5 in Barcelona. An astonishing last lap. Those were the words of Alex Jakes, who you'll be hearing from later on, at a home race for Ismail Fassi. And this was the controversy in that last lap. Penalties were handed out. Otis Lawrence finishing way down, but there he is, the very happy Ferrari driver, Ismail Fassi. And also shout out a 4th podium for Josh Edo, finishing P2. We move to the rain in Silverstone, and that has a bit of everything. And of course, taking you back all the way to 2017, Silverstone has a fond memory for you, I'm sure. But this isn't what you want to be racing in sometimes you do.
Yeah, I mean, I actually preferred racing in the rain rather than the dry because you could control the strategy a little bit. And I want to give massive credit to the teams behind the scene. What seemed to start off as a no-stop, some people transitioned to a one-stop strategy. The drivers who stayed on that no-stop managed their tyres to perfection and managed it all the way until the end. Something that is hard to see from the outside, but once you start getting the clues of drivers backing off, slowing down, you can understand who's saving tyres, who's pushing, and who's changing the race dynamic.
Yeah, it's adapting to the race and what's happening around them. These are the driver standings. This is where we are coming into event 3, and this is race 7. We'll head to Spa in just a moment. We'll tell you what's happening with qualifying. But Otis Lawrence, the top spot, Jarno Opmis and Freddie Rasmussen, and some brilliant drivers just below are hoping to pick up some big points today around Spa. And there it is, the team standings, Oracle Red Bull Racing. I mean, you've come up against them a few times, Brennan. They really know how to pick 2 of the best drivers and absolutely send it.
Yeah, for my sake, it was quite annoying back in the day. But now watching from the outside, I can actually really fully appreciate how good they are. You know, I had the privilege of fighting Freddie for the 2018 title. At the time in the seat, you're just focused on yourself. But now I can really see, like, okay, he is really outstanding, you know. So many years P2, take his championship, and yeah, that's kind of what I've learned. Sit back, and now I can fully appreciate how good they are.
Okay, it is awesome to have you here. The trophy just next to you. Is it quite nice to see it?
Yeah, it's got my name twice on the back of it. It's quite nice. Maybe I might take it home after.
No, you're not officially allowed. We need it for tomorrow because we've got 2 more races. But the race that we're going to in just a moment, as we show you the event schedule, we will go to Spa-Francorchamps, where it's had all sorts of weather in qualifying. And then tomorrow, Zandvoort, and then the Circuit of the Americas, which I'm really, really looking forward to. And that will round out event 3. And then we come back for event 4 here at Formula One's Technology and Media Centre. And where will we fighting to crown a new champion? Maybe it would be a 4-time champion, who knows at the moment, but it is a brilliant battle. And qualifying happened earlier on. You were down in the hangar that we sometimes call it, with all the drivers, Nicola. And it's tense down there, isn't it, as we see live shots?
We're calling it the arena.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going arena because it just feels cooler, doesn't it? But Q1 was, it was a dramatic one if you're watching just towards the end. I mean, yeah, first of all, we're looking at Barry Barramond on screen right now. It was really nice to see him back on track and back in that rig. But seeing the end of Q1 and seeing that name, Jarno Opmeer, suddenly drop down to the bottom and go out in Q1, I genuinely was not expecting it. So I spoke to him afterwards and he seemed so, you can see it there. He was so defeated by the end of that session, bless him.
And he said every point matters, can't work a miracle every time. It's going to require one, isn't he, Brendan?
Yeah, but I mean, Jarno, he has 3 titles, the most of anyone, the best in F1 sim racing history. So if anyone can come back and claw it back, especially on this track that overtaking can happen, for sure it's Jarno.
Yeah, we're seeing cars struggling to stay in the pit lane there. And obviously the rain came down and that changed the whole setup. And I feel the guy who suffered one of them the most was Thomas Ronhard. The lights went out, which is that highlight in the game show. That was it's brutal, isn't it? Pedrena going out as well and Jan Halliday. But Q3, we headed there. What was the whole concept of this, Brendan? Break it down as a driver's perspective. And getting on the slicks at the end, 3 drivers did that.
To be honest, you have to trust your engineer. Your engineer will be able to see the track evolution and what the predicted time for tyre compounds, this instance is soft versus intermediates. What is it at the point of leaving the pit lane and what is it at the point of predicted in 3 minutes time when you start the lap, and also considering for the final part of the lap. For example, corner 1 on the softs was slower than the intermediates, but by the time you heated them up during the middle sector, especially through pull on, then through the fast chicane as well, you got better grip. Ulas was actually able to overtake cars towards the end of a lap, what he previously lost time at the start of the lap. So it shows the predictive work of the engineers and the trust of the drivers that they have in the team. Probably, I don't know this for fact, but probably some drivers denied the engineers the opportunity to go to the softs.
Yeah.
But before we delve and unpack that, that is really interesting to trust. I trust you massively here, Brendan. Do me a massive favour. P1, P2, can you have a look at the laps set by both drivers and what you noticed and where time was gained and lost here?
Of course I can.
We'll give you the biggest screen we possibly can for this.
I love this.
So, as we go across into turn 1, this is actually what I was talking about with Ulas. He lost time to, I believe that is going to be Barry Burman up ahead of him. And this is going to be through the first sector. So Barry is going to be on the intermediate tyres, and you can see going up through Eau Rouge and Radion as well. On the right-hand side, we have Istvan Pukki, who eventually ended up P2 on the grid. This at the bottom of the screen is going to be the deltas compared to the intermediate lap time. So watch that shoot up as you go through the middle sector. Now, Ulas on the left-hand side is picking up a lot of grip as Barry is beginning to overheat the tyres, and now you can see that position has now been gained. For those wondering about the ghosting and why he was able to drive through Barry, in F1 sim racing, we have the ghost cars in the qualifying to ensure, well, equal and fair treatment, no dirty air, no slipstream, and thus everyone has an equal chance to do their pole position lap. On the right-hand side now, we've got Istvan Pukki picking up those positions as well. Watch the front bite of Ulas into the corners. He's learning the grip, adapting to the grip, and going right close to that white line. Ultimately, he was 6 tenths faster than anyone at the end of a lap, shows testament to his adjustment skills. Through the middle sector, nearly 4 seconds up, and you can see the cars ahead coming closer and closer. What I can say as a driver, what an amazing feeling that actually is. Because you know for sure there's only 3-4 cars on the same compounded tyre, so you're basically guaranteed the top 4 position. Into the break, it can be very distracting. He handles that really well and actually has his teammate on the same compounded tyres right up ahead of him. Beresny, temporary fastest. Ulas goes faster again, and Istvan Pukki 6/10 off Ulas. So really, from a driver's position, full credit to Ulas for maximising it.
Oh, I tell you what, Brendan, that is exceptionally well done from there. Ushered away from our teleprompter system, but that's I expect. No, do you know what? I'm going to say it now. At the end of the race, I'd like some more of that from you over at the touchscreen. And there it is. Ulas Ildrim starts in pole position. Istvan Pukki's behind it, and his teammate Tom Manley. I posed the question to Kai Bacchini, one of our commentators for today, as well as Alex Jakes, whether they will be working as a team. Now, you've had experience working with Thomas Ronha, Danny Beresny. You've had some fabulous teammates with you, Brendan. Are they going to be focusing on that to maximise the amount of points that Racing Bulls can get today?
For sure, you work as a team, but there's also limits to what you can do because you can't put 2 cars in the same pit stop. So one has to go longer than the other. So in summary, there will be teamwork, but it's ultimately limited by the track position and how close you can be together. If it rains though, teamwork kind of goes out the window because there's one good lap to box from intermediates to dries or vice versa. So if it's full dry, they'll work together. If it's wet, they kind of have to separate.
See you in a bit, best of luck. Yeah, that's basically what they say to each other.
Exactly.
Trust your engineers, that's what I picked up. I know I want to talk a bit more about that in a second. However, I want to start talking about a driver, my driver to watch today, Thomas Ronha, okay? A return to form for Thomas Ronha around Silverstone. Or when I say form, what we expect of Thomas Ronha, battling for a title in 2023-24. He finished 6 points off Freddie Rasmussen for that title and finishing down so close and agonising. That was, I think, 5 thousandths a second off getting that pole position around Silverstone. But a return to form, and it's so unprecedented to see him way back down, not getting out of Q1 at times. But a return to form, it's happened in Spa. He finished last year around Spa, finishing on the podium in 3rd and had pole position for it. So he's the driver I'm keeping an eye on. It's that form that we know and expect of him, but it's hard to extract, isn't it? If I would put that pressure on him, Brendan, it's hard. He knows what he's capable of.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for Thomas because, of course, I've been teammates with him, had the pleasure of it as well. And he faced a lot of unfair challenges in the last few years, and what I won't go into right now because that's for him to speak about. But he faced a lot of unfair challenges, and he never actually came in a disrespectful way to other people. So I have a lot of sympathy, and I have a lot of trust in him, and I'm for sure that he'll come back stronger.
Yeah, I mean, the mental aspect of Thomas Ronha is incredible. And as you mentioned, yeah, he's had to deal with a lot. He's dealt with it in the best manner and hoping to pick up some points today. He's my driver to watch. Who's going to go up next? Driver to watch from you, Nicola?
I'm going Freddie. Now, the reason I'm going Freddie Rasmussen is purely because this circuit for Freddie, statistically, is his best circuit.
Okay.
And we know how great Freddie is. We know what he can achieve. We saw what he did to be able to get into Q3 earlier. Obviously, it was a tricky Q3 at the end anyway because everyone was on intermediate/softs and they opted for the intermediates. So it'll be interesting to see how well he gets on today because I know he's good on this circuit. Out of the 7 races he's done on this circuit, he's been on the podium 6 times.
And a bit of facial hair as well, like the professor. 17 wins for him. Next to him, more facial hair.
Yeah.
Jano Opmeer, both professors, so good. Brendan, who have you got your eye on? Driver of the day.
I'm going to sound really biased by saying this because of the colour I'm wearing, but I got to go Bari. He's been out of the season halfway so far, and he's coming back hot, he's coming back spicy, and he's going to come back with fury. So I'm absolutely confident he's going to smash it today. And
you know what? An all-round top bloke. There he is, giving us a wave. It's so good to have him back, and also a driver that he is replacing. John Evans did a sterling job put in the circumstances. So big shout out to the whole team at Ferrari. Listen, I'd like to talk about the circuit that we're about to go racing around. I had the pleasure of going there in real life last year. I love this track. What do you love about it, Brendan?
I like the long straights. You can have a cup of tea, a coffee down it. But on a serious note, I think it actually elevates the opportunity to have racing. As you can see, Sector 1 in modern Formula 1 in a dry condition is basically flat out, isn't it? So a good overtaking opportunity, challenging middle sector, brings a dilemma for the drivers and engineers because you can set the car up for the straights or the corners. Thus, you have a difference in ability to extract that cars overtaking in the middle sector due to higher downforce and maybe losing it on the longer straights as a result of it.
Normally in event 2 we had George Morgan here. He throws out some predictive pit stop strategies. Some drivers question that. I'm not digging him out, I'm just saying I'd like to hear what you think, because we often give a pit stop strategy. New drivers make us look like we're silly sometimes. So what would you highlight as your predicted pit stop?
First of all, I think that graph is pretty good, but I reckon they'll go around lap 6 to lap 8 for their first stops.
Okay, Nicola, looking forward to Spa?
I'm so excited about Spa. As a Formula One fan, whenever Spa is on the telly, you get excited to watch it because you know it's going to be brilliant racing. Whether it's going to be raining or even if it's going to be dry, you know it's going to be brilliant because it's Spa. And then getting to see it in esports, I think is just that little bit more dramatic. And knowing that the level we're at now and how close we are to the end of the season and how tense it's getting, I think we're in for a brilliant evening of racing.
Looking forward to this. I tell you what, Brennan, 2 people, when I said you won't be competing this year, were very disappointed, almost to the point of crying. It was Alex Jakes and Kai Bicini, obviously commentating on this man before. There they are in the commentary booth here at Formula One's Technology and Media Centre. Gentlemen, looking forward to this race?
Looking forward to this race immensely, thank you, Tom. Yeah, this is a real challenge, and I think we've got a genuinely really mixed up grid.
Yeah, we do. Qualifying brought in plenty of surprises. And, you know, I think Jarno Opmeer out in Q1. We all had our arms up in the air after that one. It definitely was all mixed up.
It's Halliday and Klaffenbach at the back of the grid on the final row that we have. 18 competing in this one. The Aston Martin driver and the Mercedes man in 17th place. Then it is Jarno Opmeer, so soon in the lineup. He's next to Alfie Butcher, who won around here the last time it was part of the Sim Racing Championship. Opmeer with an unusual Q1 exit where we see 3 drivers disappear. They could be 2 to watch charging through the field. Jake Benham is in 14th, Ruben Pedreno in 13th for Aston Martin. 2 drivers not happy with how their qualifying went, but remember, they were in the wet conditions. Q2 was essentially a one-shot qualifying session with the drivers uncertain where the grip level was. Next, Thomas Ronhaar in P12. He's next to Joris Krozen. Ronhaar was on the podium here last year. We go to the top 10, which begins with Nico Longe, who had his time invalidated for going beyond the white lines. Otis Lawrence, final chicane. Again, another invalidation, and as a result, they are 9th and 10th. Thomas Gall is in 8th. We welcome back Barry Borremond. He starts from P7 for Ferrari. A reminder for you that we have Danny Beresne in 6th position. Freddie Rasmussen finds himself in 5th place, and he will be a danger man considering he set his time on the intermediate tyre. Fastest driver on the intermediate tyre in Q3, Ismail Fassi, a race winner last time around. Tom Manley was in 3rd place on the slick tyres. Esteban Pookie, brilliant lap from him. He was a contender for the win last year. He'll be a contender for the win this year. But it's Ulaz Zilderem with a pole position that meant so much. They gambled on the tyres. And now it is time to go racing at Spa. The first of 22 laps starts right now with a launch off the line, and mixed conditions continue. Zilderem, Pookie and Manley with the top 3 on slick tyres, and the Racing Bulls actually made contact into the first hairpin. A dramatic moment, wheel banging in the background, the top 3 as they were. We go on board with Tom Manley. He's got a Williams ahead of him. He's got his teammate ahead of him. He's all over the back of him into Eau Rouge as we climb the hill through Radion. No one making major places at the start. It's Fassi, then Rasmussen, then Beresne, then Borremond, but they're glued together in the background. Zilderem holds the lead as we get to the end of the Kemmel Straight. He's still got it.
Yeah, debris flying down at turn 1, so a couple of drivers picking up damage down at that first corner. You don't want to give yourself a disadvantage so early on. Reduce downforce because of the wet conditions and because of the conditions that the drivers find themselves in. The last thing you need is more damage on those cars. Ismail Fassi finds himself tucked in behind Tom Manley, the man who was able to take advantage of the slick compound tyres in qualifying. Didn't get the best launch off the line. Istvan Pookie able to split the 2 Racing Bull drivers at the moment. Everyone's seeming to find themselves a little bit more calm in order, but I'm sure tempers will fly soon.
Klaffenbach made 3 places. He's up to 13th. Second in the point standings going into this one. Jarno Opmeer is down to 17th position. Our reigning champion with it all to do. Will we get a change in conditions that allows him to make progress? You've got the McLaren drivers in 15th and 16th. Klaffenbach, the driver, on the charge, and he's putting big pressure on once again as he tries to climb further. You're on board with the Ferrari man. Winner of his home event in Barcelona, Ismail Fassi, is the driver who was best on intermediate tyres in Q3. Those ahead of him on the grid all use slick tyres to get to that position.
It'll be interesting to see if that performance on the intermediate tyres is able to continue on here for Ismail Fassi. But do remember, with the rain now pouring, any single mistake from any driver will just be amplified by 1,000, and all of those mistakes will be looked at under a microscope. A little bit of a dummy to the inside there by Fassi, going down into La Source, 3 wide into La Source, further down, one car around, the McLaren almost going sideways as well, but Crozen and Klaffenbach coming together down at turn 1, and the two of them will drop down to the bottom end of the field, and the McLaren of Jake Benham getting involved in that one as well.
Klaffenbach had such a good opening lap. It all comes undone on lap number 2. It allows Jarno Opmeer to get up to 14th position. Jake Benham was involved in it. He's down to 16th. Halliday has gone through into 15th position. Alfie Butcher, the lead McLaren, in 13th place. And once again, just like Silverstone, those in the lower reaches upping the aggression, knowing they need to make immediate passes, not leaving any margin, and dramatic collisions as a result. It's a 1-second lead for Ulas Ozilderen.
Let's see if Azildrim is able to hold on to this one, keep the car under control and keep focus forwards. 20 more laps remaining for the Racing Bulls driver to find himself out in front. As we mentioned, only his second ever qualifying result on pole position for Ulas Ozildrim, and making the most of that opportunity is the Turkish driver out in front. If we have a look, last season he only scored 4 points over the whole championship total. One of them was a pole position in China last season. He also picked up a point earlier on this morning for this afternoon actually, picked up a point for his qualifying pole, and looking to convert that into 25 more.
Yeah, the rule for the F1 Sim Racing Championship awarding a point for pole position, and it was a slightly strange occurrence, his first one when we raced in Shanghai. He acknowledged that in the interview, but he was absolutely superb to take advantage of it. Not easy to get those slick tyres to work around this long track. Thankfully, it is a long track, stretching to 7 kilometers. As a result, they're able to fire those tyres up. He's looking good in the intermediate conditions, and he was looking strong on slick tyres earlier on. Pookie trying to return to the podium today, something that he knows well from this time last year. Here is the championship leader and driver who finds himself up a place from where he started, and Otis Lawrence is in P8.
Well, if I know anything about Otis Lawrence, is he won't be content with P8 at all. Into the pit lane and looking for a new front wing after contact. That'll be Klaffenbach who pulls into the pit lane. Such a shame to see the rookie falling from what was a very graceful second event. He picked up his first point-scoring position in Jeddah, where he finished 7th after qualifying 4th. It was an outstanding race there from Klaffenbach, but that was the first race of the second event. First race of this third event, it's not going to plan.
No, disappointment for him, but he will be learning with every lap that he turns. Jarno Opmeer in 13th position, and the driver second in the points going into this finds himself with Alfie Butcher is directly ahead of him. Lap 3 at 22. Ozilderen leads by 1.1 seconds, and we're making our way down the hill. Let's review some replays from the start of the race then, as we make our way off the line. And we do so on board the Haas driver of Joris Crozen.
This was down into turn 1. You can see those red arrows. That will be both of the McLarens side by side of him, and also getting a bit of debris kicked up in his face. And let's watch on board with Nicolas Longuet here, known for his outstanding qualifying results. Well, it was only good enough for 10th. Earlier on this afternoon, he looked down the inside of Otis Lawrence. That'll be where the debris came from. Damage on the front left of the ring after clattering into the rear end of Barry Borman, and then just locking wheels with Otis Lawrence.
Further back, this was the moment that undid things for Klaffenbach. Oh no, Thomas Ronhaar into the back of his teammate, and what had been a really encouraging first lap coming undone. See Klaffenbach having his momentum checked by the Aston Martin driver ahead, and a mess at the source.
Yeah, such a shame there. Jake Benham virtually having to go bowling down into turn one as he had stationary cars left and right of him, nowhere to go but into the side of the Mercedes driver, who was pivoted around by his teammate of Thomas Ronhaar. On lap 4 of 22 here, we're keeping an eye on what is going to be Otis Lawrence on the back of Barry Borromond. It's great to see him returning for this third event. One of the veterans of the series, Alfie Butcher's just made his way past Jarno Opmeer. Opmeer actually up quite a few positions, qualified in 16th, was knocked out of Q1 for the first time in 6 years. 2020 was the last time that we saw Jarno Opmeer knocked out of a Q1, but today was another addition to that. Started in 16th, up in a 13th now, but Alfie Butcher not making it easy for him at all.
No, those two have pedigree around this circuit. I wonder if they can make progress. The problem is that they are coming up to some very, very strong drivers, having made good early progress, but not enough of it. Opmeer actually 17th on the opening lap, did not get the getaway he was looking for. Alcilder doing brilliantly with a 1.3 second lead at the moment. Pookie would be happy with that podium, as would Tom Manley. Fassi, at one point, got the gap down to 0.2 of a second. He's just dropped back in the last lap. That's given Freddie Rasmussen a chance. We are understandably focusing on the race leader. You've got Danny Bresnay ahead of the returning Barry Borromond. We're on board with Otis Lawrence. He's coming up to the part of the circuit that saw him dropped into the middle of the pack. Unusual for him, given that he's got the best qualifying average of anyone so far this year. His aggressive nature into that final chicane, just too much into the first part, and as a result he is trying to fight his way through at this stage. You can see the difference on the left hand side from their starting positions. Opmeer up 3, Butcher up 3, Otis Lawrence up 1, and the top 7 behaving themselves. No word yet from those who have the knowledge of it, whether this is static weather, whether this is going to change. That sentence might be about to change. What have you learnt, Kai?
Well, it was funny you say that, isn't it? We just get notification that this stormy weather that we have at the moment could very shortly be changing into light rain, which means a dry line would then start to form. A bit more grip and a bit more exploration is available for the drivers, so maybe some more overtaking opportunities. Light rain was what we saw at the beginning of Q2, which is where all the drivers had their one-shot qualifying, which is where Alfie Butcher and Jake Benham, both the McLarens, fell short. They weren't able to get that result on their first qualifying lap in Q2. I'm sure they'll be happy to see that light rain come and maybe be able to attack the back of Nicholas Longuet in front in 11th.
Pookie had a superb race here last year on his way to second, gaining 4 positions from where he started. A different strategy. If it is going to get lighter out there in terms of the rain, then there will be an opportunity for those with ability further back in the pack to roll the dice. At the moment, Jarno Opmeer is not scoring. Neither is Alfie Butcher. You can see the picture of concentration for Jarno Opmeer, who has made a career out of taking a drying track and undoing, let's say, some of the difficulties of qualifying. He's had so many special performances with these type of conditions. We'll get the same again.
Well, as you said there, Alex, Jarno Opmeer, driver that is very much up for a wet weather race. He always loves some interchangeable conditions, and that's one of the key traits of Spa here, the unpredictable weather conditions. Jarno Opmeer will very much be in his element right now, which is why it was such a surprise to see him go so early on in qualifying. A little bit deep there from Nicholas Longuet, left the door open for Alfie Butcher, and behind Butcher wasn't able to take advantage of that opportunity. This time around, Barry Borromond leaving it sideways through Eau Rouge and Radion, down the Kemmel Straight now. Overtake and slipstream available here for Otis Lawrence, your championship leader, P1 in the standings, to pick up one more position. He goes to the outside here, and it's going to be so close. They're still side by side. Barry Borromond's not going to give it up at all as they make their way through Le Combe, and now down towards Rivage. Maybe thought about the dive down the inside, but Otis Lawrence, he'll have to wait for another overtaking opportunity.
That was brilliant side-by-side racing from 2 proven drivers at this level. A little bit of barging left and right, but crucially for Otis Lawrence, he is not able to keep pace. He's got his teammate, the car ahead, and let's see whether he's able at this stage to line up something in the early part of the lap. All the overtaking done traditionally in the first sector. No DRS. at this stage. When that changes, could change the complexion of the race. Dry line is emerging, rain is getting lighter. Who goes first for a gamble? It defined our top 3 in qualifying earlier on. And let's see a replay further back in the pack then. Alfie Butcher on the march. And he's got Opmeer involved as well. Are we going to go 3 wide? Not sure that's a wise idea. Somehow, Butcher made it work.
Whoa, what a move there. Jarno Opmeer thought he could sneak his nose into the battle as well, but he has one more opportunity to the outside of the bus stop chicane. You'll now go to the outside the second part, get the switch back onto the main straight. No, Longay parks it on the apex, and they make their way onto the straight now, down to La Source, one of the heaviest braking zones of the circuit, behind Lecombe to the outside. Last of the late breakers. Can Opmeer get there? If anyone's going to be able to, it'll be this man right here, and yes, he does. Gets the traction, gets the drive, and gets the position.
Key move, Alfie Butcher. Look at the gap that Alfie Butcher has got in clear air. So the McLaren man is feeling pretty racy in these conditions when there's a gap further up the road. A move for Otis Lawrence. Couldn't make it work one lap ago. They're still banging wheels further back. Is there a chance? Will they make it through off the road? In the background goes Longay. Opens the door as well. And that is disappointment for Longay. Drops down to 14th. Crucially, position maintained by Jarno Opmeer.
I'm sure Longay will not be happy with that move. He'll feel that he was squeezed over the apex of the second part of Lecombe there through 6. However, no penalties being awarded out right now. I'm sure that one will be dealt with after the race is done. But Jarno Opmeer, with that battle taking place, now has to deal with the pressure of Jan Halliday in behind. Jan Halliday having an outstanding race right now. P13 for the moment. Started a lot further back on the grid. If I do remember, Jan Halliday started from 18.
He's last on the grid.
Yeah, what race he's having so far?
Superb from Halliday, who has made it work. There's been bumping and barging ahead. Doors open for him. He's keeping pace with our champion at the moment. And further up, key move for Otis Lawrence. He's got his teammate directly ahead of him. Let's go on board and have a review of that moment then. We're on board with Halliday, and then you can see there's Longay off the road, Opmeer going through, and the Aston Martin man says thanks very much.
I can understand the frustration from Longay, but he's not going to catch a break here, as it's going to be a move around the outside from Joris Krozen into the bus stop chicane. He'll get that move done, but I can understand the frustration there from Longay. And from that perspective, from the perspective of Tamashkau, it very much did look like Longay was just completely forced over the apex there and nothing that he could do.
Now have a look at that one. They always do if asked to. And Jake Benham now. Jake Benham, so good around Silverstone in these conditions, but finds himself shuffled backwards again, trying to get past Nicholas Longay. Not happy with the conditions. And, oh, that would be a dive bomb and a half. Is there going to be the room? I think you knew the answer to that question. Benham soaring away at the back of the Williams.
Yeah, we do have to keep in mind after watching those start replays. Remember, Nicholas Longay did pick up that front end plate damage on his front wing, which is why he was so slow up Eau Rouge and Radion there. He's just having it lift off a little bit more because of the reduced downforce that he has on his Williams machinery. Alfie Butcher trying to take advantage of that, which is, I think, why we've seen so many drivers managing to make that move around the outside of Longay. Let's go on board with Jan Halliday one more time for his breezing move past Jarno Opmeer towards Lecombe, and no issue at all there for Jan Halliday. Another position, and now charging towards the points.
Having a superb drive as we go on board with Thomas Ronhaar, one of the contenders for the title last year, multiple race winner. Jake Benham ahead, Nicholas Longay ahead, and they're all scrapping further back for what is riding on board with 17th position. 16th is ahead, Nicholas Longay for 15th. Out front, here's our race leader. And look at the steering lock he's applying into La Source. Very, very unusual, but getting the job done. He's our leader by 2.2 seconds.
It's Sunday drive out in front for Julasz Ozildrim. Has no pressure from behind. No need for him to push the car beyond any limits that he has to force a mistake. 2.5 seconds back to Istvan Pukki. In a league of his own right now is Ozildrim. Loves a wet weather race, which is clearly shown by the pace on display. And for Julasz Ozildrim, it would be a very big moment for the Racing Bulls driver. If we have a look at what the Turkish man has been able to do so far in his career as attacking the rear end once again, that's Jarno Opmeer, who's managed to make his way back past Jan Halliday. So Opmeer not settling for that 13th position. He'll make his way back past. But Ulasas Yildirim out in front, never had a race victory. This could be his best opportunity yet.
Twice he's been on the podium, never on the top step. Is this the day to change it? If it stays like this, no one behind him currently has an answer. But will it stay like this? Our last race at Silverstone, static conditions all the way through. Funnily enough, it rained all the way through Silverstone. Who'd have thought it? But we come to Spa, similar reputation. Will it dry out? Because that will be the strategic headache for El Yildirim. If it does so, you cannot go super aggressive with a 2.6 second lead. But if it stays like this, he's got one hand on the trophy.
Well, Alex, it's almost as if it's scripted at this point. Every time you mention a change in weather condition, we can now see Julian Klaffenbach picking up a 3-second time penalty. That will be for track limits. But back to the weather conditions.
The weather. Let's hear it.
We're back to the weather.
What have you been told?
Well, light rain at the moment. We'll get a drum roll for this one. You can guess what's going to happen. Light rain will be stopping shortly.
And El Yildirim then goes into the category of brilliant stint, but he's going to have to show performance, surely, on a dry set of tyres. He did that to take pole position earlier on. Here's Freddie Rasmussen, excellent around this circuit, and driving with a little bit of a percentage still there. Not as aggressive as we've seen from others, and further back in the pack, Otis Lawrence is in 7th, our championship leader. Danny Beresne is his teammate for this outing. Freddie Rasmussen, the driver we're on board with. And you can see how much Tom Manley has caught Pookie, who is chewing through those intermediate tyres. And the light rain is continuing, but expected to abate. And when it does anyone go super aggressive? And when does El Yildirim react, chasing his first win in the championship?
I think drivers just need to jump onto those soft compounder tyres as soon as possible. Drivers that are a little bit further back, the likes of Jarno Opmeer, might take a gamble and possibly pit a little bit earlier. As we see the predicted pit lane lost time, it's going to be about 18 seconds that the drivers would lose, as Yildirim extends his gap out to 3.5 seconds. But the last thing that he wants is to jump onto those slick compounder tyres and be caught dry with it still being a damp surface, as you'll just lose that whole advantage that he's already asserted over Istvan Pookie in second. So it very much is a waiting game. We still see speckles of rain falling down the screen. As soon as that rain stops, it's only a moment of time before those drivers dive into the pit lane.
Otis Lawrence is 4/10 of a second away from his teammate Danny Beresne. They're going to work together. Oh, in! Now that is punchy from Tom Manley, from Freddie Rasmussen, from our championship leader Otis Lawrence. They've all come into the pits at half distance.
Well, this could be a tactical masterclass here from the Racing Bulls team. They've sacrificed one driver, taken Manley into the pit lane, putting him on these slick compounder tyres, and he will feed back the information to the team. And from that, Ulasas Yildirim will then be able to make his decision on when he comes into the pit lane.
And will he react immediately? Because we saw how much the slick tyre gives you. Is it out front the moment? They continue on, and it is big, this. It is big. Opmeer's in as well. Opmeer is into the pits. And Danny Beresne is continuing on, the driver who finds himself chasing down third now.
Looking at Manley's data here, he's just gaining time upon time on the back of Thomas Ronhor. It was 3.1 seconds, now down to what is 2.6. So I would not be surprised if we see the leaders box a slap.
Well, you've got to respond, because could the Racing Bulls driver in third position get the launch on this lap alone? It's the longest one of the year. If you have a tyre advantage, it's an enormous tyre advantage. DRS is now enabled, by the way. The light rain's still falling. It's about to disappear. The slick tyre, the soft tyre, is the ideal one. Won't take you all the way through. Hard tyres for Manley, for Rasmussen, for Lawrence, and for Opmeer. Jake Benham going for the medium.
Yeah, I think you have to box a slap, especially with DRS being enabled. That is just certification that even the game feels that it's dry enough to be on these slick compounder tyres. Ismail Fassi still chasing down the back of Istvan Pukki, but it will be a dive into the pit lane from both of them, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is, into the pit, and now it will just be a flurry of pit stops. The double stacks are going to be interesting. Some drivers are going to be held up by their teammates in the pit lane, but in comes our leader. Keep an eye on this man right here, Tom Manley. Can he get the jump on his teammate? He's got traffic in front of him, as in Nicholas Longuet doesn't pull into the pit lane. Why has Longuet stayed out for one more lap on these intermediates? He's just going to lose time.
Right, here we go. Let's see who's going to get out first. It's absolutely crucial. Borman's gone around again, and that is massive. So there is an advantage for going to the slick tyres, but the pace was restricted by Tom Manley, and Elzelderim is back out in front of his teammate. Pukki is lost out in this sequence. Freddie Rasmussen's ahead. It's getting very, very close. Now look at this, 3 wide we go. Watch out, because Freddie Rasmussen's trying to put the pressure on. Tom Manley stays ahead. Freddie Rasmussen gets by. Longuet fades back on the intermediate tyres, and Elzelderim had a 3-second advantage. It's 1.8, and Racing Bulls are having a party. When Barry Borman comes in and changes tyres, they're 1 and 2.
Well, I think Ulas Zildrim has to go over and shake Nicholas Longuet's hand after this one, as that was definitely a bit of a hold-up for his teammate. Tom Manley was not able to get past the stagnant Williams through the bus stop chicane and also down into La Source. Ismail Fassi will be the next to deal with the driver on the intermediate, and it's no problem for the Ferrari man who took home a victory at his home Grand Prix in Barcelona. Sweeps around the outside and will take that position in his stride. Ismail Fassi makes his way through. Barry Borman, your race leader at the moment, but still yet to pit.
Pukki's gone for the medium tyres. Beresnay's gone for the medium tyres. Thomas Gau's gone for the medium tyres. Elzelderim, Manley, Rasmussen, all on the hards. And they are going to be the drivers with the podium places in a few moments. Barry Borman going round again. And as a result, we will see Elzelderim come over the line. But it's game on. It's a totally different surface for the drivers to attack now. Look at Pukki. Look at Pukki going through. On the medium tyres, that's going to give him an advantage. Could well fall away from him later on if that tyre isn't durable, but for the moment he doesn't care, he's up to P3.
9 laps of pure pandemonium here at the 7-kilometre undulating, adrenaline-pumping action at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. It's so notorious on the F1 calendar for moments exactly like this. Jarno Opmeer, sorry, that's Freddie Rasmussen making his way past Istvan Pukki. Pukki drops down another position, and Fast Freddie, the man that we all know and love, is going to pick up another place. So is going to be Ismail Fassi and Barry Borman as well on your screen, gaining some positions.
Yeah, so Jarno Opmeer ahead of Barry Borman. Thomas Gal is up the road from them. Ruben Pedreno continuing on, but unable to fight. DRS enabled. It is making Sector 1 a lot easier to overtake in. Remember, the car's carrying a lot of wing as well, so it's a massive benefit for DRS. You've got the battery on the left-hand side for Pukki, who had a really strong second place here last year. He's currently running off the podium, but he's got the tyre advantage. He did have track position, but unable to keep it. Freddie Rasmussen knows how to play a game of racecraft, and he is currently 9/10 of a second off the back of Tom Manley. Manley looking a lot happier on the hard compounded tyre than the intermediate in the rainy conditions earlier on. Tom Manley, by the way, also chasing his first ever victory in the Sim Racing Championship. 2 drivers out front who have never stood on the top step, both from the same team. Freddie Rasmussen, who has won for fun, has the fastest lap. Danny Beresnay's chasing him down. It is quite literally anyone's race.
Well, what do you do as a team here? Do team orders come into play? Do you let them race? Is there papaya rules? Well, no, it's the Racing Bulls, but Jarno Opmeer there made his way past Ruben Pedreno, and that's where Barry Borman was also able to slip through with DRS enabled down the Kemmel straight. No problems there for Jarno Opmeer, but your fastest man on track.
Pukki's got a chance. Go to your live pictures. You've got a chance on the right-hand side. Pukki can't get it done. We'll go back to the replay. This was further back in the pack. That was right on the edge and then some. This was when we were on the Inters, Opmeer event against Longuet, and that was the controversial moment that saw Halliday get through.
Well, they were wheel to wheel, completely side by side. It's under investigation by the stewards, that incident. Opmia and Longuet, in my opinion, I'm sure if I was in the position of Longuet from my racing career, I would 100% be screaming for a penalty.
Well, you know what they're going to say both ways. Driver's going to argue it. It was aggressive with those conditions. Talking of aggressive, talking of a driver favouring these conditions, he's got the tyre advantage, Pookie. Can he make it pay? And Freddie Rasmussen has the more durable tyre on. Manley's ahead. Elzelderum is ahead of him. Let's go to the replay and have a look at Barry Borman. Back in the championship, back in the points. He's up to 9th.
Yeah, straightforward move there by Barry Borman. He's had plenty of those overtakes in his time in the F1 Sim Racing Championship. We're keeping an eye on the Williams driver, Istvan Pukki, as he's peering down the rear diffuser of Freddie Rasmussen across the line. Otis Lawrence sets a new fastest lap. Lawrence now finds himself in 5th. This has been a great recovery drive from your championship leader to get himself in a good position. Qualified 9th, a little bit further down the order than he would have been used to or hoping for, but up into 5th and still charging on to gain more positions if possible. But this is the battle that we're all glued to right now. Istvan Pukki closer than ever to the back of Freddie Rasmussen, the man who has over 1,000 career points in his books, and the Ferrari driver going very slowly down the straight without DRS. Ismail Fassi will lose out to his teammate and Thomas Gall.
Barry Borman on the march at the moment. Let's see whether he can keep this going. Remember, the medium tyre is going to be the one to be on at this stage. Could fade later on. When you've got those in the top 3 favouring the hard tyres, it's clearly not obvious which tyre to go on. If you lost out slightly with your track position or timing of the pit stop, you're going to go for the medium to try and bail yourself out. Freddie Rasmussen in your picture. Freddie Rasmussen with Red Bull, a team that he's been with so long, and a 2-time winner around this circuit. He's also been on the podium so many times around here. 0.6 of a second between the drivers who would be first-time winners. This was all set up with a dramatic qualifying hour earlier on. We've gone from wet to dry conditions. Rasmussen, can he get himself into a position to put the real pressure on those two ahead? And what will the conversation be at Racing Bulls? They keep themselves truck and trailer within 1 second. It's going to be very, very hard to pass them. But you tell that to Tom Manley, it might be difficult in terms of an instruction to hear.
Nothing but drama. Staple headline for the F1 Sim Racing Championship. If it had to have a slogan, it could be that. No further investigation is the word we're getting from the stewards on the incident between Opmia and Longuet. So the stewards siding with Opmia there, that he possibly didn't have enough grip to be able to respond to Longuet on his outside. But Longuet will now just have to put his head down and focus on the race ahead. The two Ferraris getting stuck in with the sister team of Haas once again as they almost push each other past the Haas driver of Thomas Gall. Borman leading the charge. Ismail Fassi tucked in behind the Scuderia Scarlet red Ferrari in front of him.
So Barry Borman in 7th, Ismail Fassi in 8th, Thomas Gall now 9th. Ruben Pedreno has the final point as it stands. Jarno Opmeer out of the points as it stands. Otis Lawrence with another haul coming his way. Would be an extension of the championship lead by 10 points if he can stay there. This is Ruben Pedreno going past Jarno Opmeer. Really is a day of the unexpected. And DRS, nicely done. Take the position, and by the time he got to Lacombe, job done, into the points. And Opmeer is still trying to undo the damage done. A really tricky performance in qualifying earlier on when he was out in Q1. Good laps being put in by Elzelderum, who's beginning to flirt with the 1 second window. The problem is, if you're Elzelderum and you do that, you might not be fighting your teammate for the win, you might be fighting Freddie Rasmussen for the win. Surely the Racing Bulls stay within a second all the way to the end.
Well, the last thing you want as the Racing Bulls drivers is to start this battle and enable Freddie Rasmussen to just reel those two drivers in and get involved in the battle as well, as we know Rasmussen is such a fierce competitor, and if given the opportunity, he will pounce. That's the last thing you want if you're the Racing Bulls team. So surely on their pit wall with their engineers, they need to be having this discussion of what do we do here? Do we let the drivers race, or do we work together to push forwards?
I can't imagine that they're going to turn away this opportunity. team orders with 1-2s. We've seen them before in Belgium in the real thing. And Elzerdarim and Manley will be hoping to work together to get to the end. It would be Tom Manley's second podium in his sim racing career. This is his 28th start in the championship today. It's the 25th start for Elzerdarim. He's taken 1 pole position. He changed that to 2 earlier on today, and he's in a brilliant position. Can Rasmussen do anything with the racing balls ahead, set to spring an upset? Elzerdarim, Manley, Rasmussen, Pukki, Lawrence, Beresne, Burremond, Fassi, Gao and Pedreno. Second in the points, Opmeer out of the points as it stands, +10 for Otis Lawrence, but he's 0.3 of a second away from Pukki. Are Pukki's tyres beginning to fade away here?
Well, surely they have to be. Whilst he was on those medium compounder tyres, he had to take advantage of that opening stint and that window that he had where his tyre life was so superior over everyone else on the hards. Now Otis Lawrence finds himself in a bit of a limbo to try and get that move done on Istvan Pukki in front. So we'll keep an eye on that one and monitor the battle as it develops. But I have to say, Alex, it is so shocking to see A, Jarno Opmeer out of Q1, but B, Jarno Opmeer outside of a point-scoring position in the race. I mean, the last time that we saw Jarno Opmeer even finish outside of the top 10 was the Austrian Grand Prix in the 2023-24 season, where he withdrew himself from the race, inevitably getting a DNF. But since then, we haven't seen Opmeer outside of the points. Maybe some team orders there. The 2 Ferrari drivers will swap positions. No fighting between the 2 of them.
Fassi going ahead of Barry Burremond, but there's a 3-second gap between the 2 of them that they just can't hammer into. There's no cork in the bottle situation there, so they're just working to break the DRS, and they've done so. Thomas Gao is 1.2 seconds further back. Jarno Opmeer is within half a second of Pedreno, but Pedreno is with a good chance of moving up to 9th if he continues this current pace. Last time around, personal best for Tom Manley and Freddie Rasmussen. Drivers in 2nd and 3rd. It is very evenly matched out front. Rasmussen, the quickest of the top 3 last time around, but only by hundredths of a second. And they will be ticking off the laps. Would be really big for Racing Bulls. This would be an enormous moment if they're able to take a 1-2 and have a first-time winner in Ulas Elzerdarim. He is getting ever closer, and further back, Pukki is really driving on the mirrors now because Lawrence is right there. Lawrence looking for a clean move, though. You cannot let your championship rival off the hook with something that eliminates you late on. So he's looking for a slam dunk move. And if you get things right with your battery, with your deployment, and with your run out of La Source, down the hill, through Eau Rouge, through Radion, and up the Kemmel Straight, there's every opportunity he can turn 5th into 4th.
Yeah, the Kemmel Straight and down into Le Combs is going to be his best opportunity. I don't think he even needs to worry about overtaking into a braking zone as he flies past on the straight. Otis Lawrence promotes himself up at a 4th position. Opmeer is going to fight for a point-scoring position right now, though, as they go 4 wide, no 3 wide. Never mind, make that 2 wide down into Le Combs. All the drivers get me a little bit excited there, as for a moment it did look like we were going to be going 4 wide. Opmeer gets himself up into 10th past Butcher, and Ruben Pedreno also up into 9th.
Yeah, so Pedreno's got himself up into 9th position. It's Thomas Gao who's faded away. Again, another driver on the medium tyres. They're not working all the way to the end. Gave you a benefit early on, but they're not durable all the way to lap 22. It's why those in the major positions went for the hard tyres. It's paying off long term. And Pedreno in 9th. Opmeer with 1 point then. And Lawrence has got Pukki. Otis Lawrence has got past Pukki. He is up to 4th position. And so that means that both championship contenders improving on that lap. But crucially, it then becomes the trailer and the carriages, the DRS train of our top 3 next to head for Otis Lawrence, who will just be happy with the enhanced points of a championship lead.
Well, Freddie Rasmussen picking up the pace and dumping a little bit of pace on the circuit as he breaks down the gap to Tom Manley. It's now 4.5 tenths that separate the 2 of them. We go on board with the Red Bull driver as he makes his way down into La Source now, hits his braking marks, hits the apex and back on the accelerator as the drivers now charge up nearly 100 meters of elevation up Eau Rouge and Radion. This is Tom Manley. You can see his teammate just in front of him. Ozzy Oldrim needs to be careful. He needs to keep his teammate within DRS activation if Manley wants any opportunity of staying in front of Freddie Rasmussen. In third right now, Danny Beresnay is going to be the next driver. Now both Alpines have managed to make their way past the Williams of Istvan Pukki. Pukki down into 6th, and it's Otis Lawrence and Danny Beresnay up into 4th and 5th.
Jarno Opmeer up to 9th position. Key move in the championship battle. Another position on your bad days. It's about minimising the damage. He's got past Pedreno. He's going to have another opportunity. Track position heading into the 22nd and final lap. Absolutely crucial, given how strong the DRS has been climbing the hill, if you've got any battery at all. Pukki then finding himself down to 6th, paying the price for that medium tyre gamble. He went super aggressive trying to get onto the podium. He's dropped down. Danny Beresnay making that medium tyre last a little bit long.
Yeah, Lecombs and the bus stop chicane, your two major overtaking zones that we've seen displayed over the course of this race so far. But out in front, the Racing Bulls drivers, nothing to worry about just yet. Freddie Rasmussen has dropped off just a little bit on that lap by a couple of tenths, but in F1 Esports, a couple of tenths is a lot. Otis Lawrence, though, will be looking down the rear end of that Red Bull driver, waiting to see if an opportunity arises, because if the drivers in front of him start to battle, then he can pick up the scraps.
We're on the penultimate lap of the race, lap 21 of 22 of Zelderum, Manley and Rasmussen. The podium as it stands. Otis Lawrence with an extended championship lead. Danny Beresnay ahead of Pukki, and then the final point scorers, Fassi, Boromund, Opmeer and Pedreno. As it stands, Alfie Butcher's going to put big pressure on the Aston Martin man as we get towards the end. And look at this for the lead. Tom Manley has waited for his chance. They've been keeping within 1 second, down to 0.2 of a second. It would be something bold to try that on your teammate, knowing that a mistake lets in Freddie Rasmussen. Tom Manley's never won a race in the championship. He's all in for the win. So's his teammate Zelderim. Brilliant final lap ahead of us.
Yeah, Tom Manley and Ulash Ozzy both never won a race victory in their esports careers. And Racing Bulls, 6th in the team's championship, have never won a race as a constructor. So either way, this is a day to celebrate. If you're a Racing Bulls supporter, a Racing Bulls team member, or Tom Manley and Ulash Ozzy, it will go down to the last lap. And those gaps just staying within limbo is Tom Manley and Ulash Ozzy. He had a look at the move last time round. Penultimate lap, he had an opportunity. And will the last lap bring even more tempers?
Wow, this is right in the balance when it matters now. This is going to be fascinating to see whether Manley can offer anything. Further back, Jarno Opmeer bringing the pressure on Barry Boromund. Outside line, turns into the inside line. And that is going to be dead heat across the line as we go on to the last lap. But what's happening with our leaders? It's getting very tight in the background. And Boromund is in 8th position. Opmeer has to settle for 9th for the time being. He'll get a DRS zone. Out front, though, it's half a second between the top two. 0.4 of a second. Is it going to go all the way to the end? Here we go. This is it. We're all in for the win. There's no chance for a sensible late lunge. Manley knows that he's up against his teammate. That was 0.2 of a second between the two of them in the braking zone, like the previous lap. Still Opmeer tries to get by. Can he go all the way around the outside? They're banging wheels. They're barging through. Opmeer will keep it pinned. Still they can't resolve this. Pedreno in the mix as well. Opmeer trying to go around the outside. He's gone from trying to take 8th to trying to hang on to 9th.
Yep, great racing here by Opmeer as he goes from offense straight into defense. Pedreno is shown the door and shut straight out there by Jarno Opmeer. Manley had the opportunity, but you heard him just lift off the accelerator just before the braking zones. Didn't want to try anything silly, but Pedreno's not giving it up. Opmeer's not giving it up. And Boromund's going to have a world of pressure, an anvil on his shoulders heading into the bus stop chicane.
Well, it's going to be right on the line for the win, heading into the bus stop, but surely Zelderim has done enough if he can pick his breaking point. Here is our race leader. He's got one breaking point to get right. And then the dream comes true for him. Ulas Al-Zeldarim comes out of the final corner. Al-Zeldarim wins for the first time in sim racing. It's a 1-2 for Racing Bulls, and it was 0.2 of a second across the line. Freddie Rasmussen completes the podium. Then it's Otis Lawrence, Danny Beresne, Pookie, Fassi, Burman, and Otmir gets 9th on the line. Alfie Butcher gets the last point. He missed out by 0.08 of a second. Racing Bulls, welcome to the top 2 steps on the podium. Al-Zeldarim, welcome to the very top. It's his at last.
A first race victory for Ulas Al-Zeldarim and a first race victory for Racing Bulls as a team. It's a day to celebrate, but we've still got one more day of racing after this. And if this is anything to go by at Spa-Francorchamps, keep your eye on these 2 drivers. Tom Manley, don't be too disappointed. Your day will come. Showed a great display of pace there from Manley. Had the opportunity to overtake his teammate, but thought that the team orders were definitely going to be preferred. Didn't think about a dive bomb into Lecombs, as some drivers may have thought so. Racing Bulls, brilliant job from them today. Strategical masterclass, pitting Manley one lap early to test if the slicks were working, and that's when Ulas Al-Zeldarim dived in the next lap after having that data from his teammate. This is perfection in a team.
Happiness all round at Alpine. Our championship leader has extended his advantage. Jarno Otmir is having to brawl his way through that one to get 9th place in the end. Good Ferrari teamwork for 7th and 8th. Good Alpine teamwork for 4th and 5th, but none better than the 1-2. They gambled to get the front 3 positions. 2 of the front 3 positions earlier on in qualifying with a slick tyre gamble, and Al-Zeldarim cannot believe what he's just done. What he's just done is become an F1 sim racing winner.
Well, he better believe it, because dreams are becoming a reality in these moments. Ulas Al-Zeldarim, a race winner. Freddie Rasmussen just a little bit short from them top 2. He could almost feel them just in front of him, could smell the 2 Racing Bulls drivers just in front, but Rasmussen not able to do enough to challenge the top 2. It's still a podium for the Red Bull driver, and Fast Freddie back on form. Currently 3rd in the Constructors' Championship. That won't change, or will it? With Jarno Otmir only taking home 2 points and Freddie Rasmussen taking home a grand total of 15. There was an 11-point gap between them, so Freddie Rasmussen jumping his teammate in the driver's standings.
This was the moment that all the pressure could fade away, and there's an air of disbelief at Racing Bulls because they have taken a 1-2. Al-Zeldarim is an F1 sim racing winner. Job done for him. After 22 laps, he has taken the checkered flag, and he has turned pole position into the race win. With conditions like that at Spa, with competition from your teammate and Freddie Rasmussen, it's nothing like as simple as it sounds. He did it. Confirmation of the order then, with Ulas Al-Zeldarim taking his first ever victory in the championship. Tom Manley with a 2nd podium finish in his career. Freddie Rasmussen, P3. Otis Lawrence in 4th, ahead of his teammate Danny Beresne, who made that medium tyre work very well if you compare it to others. Pookie faded from the podium battle to 6th, but good points for him and Williams. Then it was Fassi, Burman. Otmir, in the end, got to 9th. Look at the gap between 9th and 10th across the line. 0.08 of a second. Those are the point scorers. We'll go to the 2nd page, which begins with Thomas Gao, and then it is Halliday, who had a bit of a starring role, had a charging drive at one stage in the mixed conditions, and it's Pedreno, who for a long time ran in the points. Crozon, Benham, Longay, Aronha, and Klaffenbach complete the order. What a day of mixed conditions at Spa.
Well, how else would you want it, Alex, at Spa-Francorchamps? We had heavy rain, light rain, and then why not throw in some sunshine to end the race as well? The drivers were very much challenged on their conditions and their adaptability, but a great race overall.
Let's hear from 2 of our podium finishers. In 2nd and 3rd, it's Manley and Rasmussen. They're in conversation with Nicola.
They certainly are. I mean, Thomas Manley, first of all, it was that kind of earlier pit stop for you that seemed to make the difference. You felt a little bit more confident and got very, very close there towards the end.
Yeah, the pit lap was perfect, so we gained a lot of time there. And then on the out lap, when Ulas was like 9/10 ahead, I had to push to stay in DRS, and that helped our race a lot, so I could stay with Ulas and protect my tyres from the guys behind at the end.
I mean, in terms of teamwork, it was kind of the dream, but that little final lap, we were getting sort of lap 21, lap 22. It was getting really tight there between the two of you.
Yeah, but he helped me mid-race, so it was the right thing to do to let him win, because he deserves it. So.
That's nice. I love this kind of teamwork that's going on here. But also, Freddie, I need to come and chat to you because from quali, I mean, you stayed on the intermediates, so you moved further down the list. However, another podium for you here in Spa.
Yeah, podium is good, but yeah, the qualifying was unlucky, so I couldn't do much more in the race than P3.
I mean, you've had a tricky last few races where you haven't quite been up to scratch, but do you feel like Fast Freddie could be back?
Not yet.
Come on, I feel like maybe potentially it was really exciting to kind of see you up there and another podium. Come on, Freddie.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow. I hope so. I hope I can do some good qualifyings.
So knowing that you're both kind of technically under the Red Bull umbrella, will there be a little celebration, all of you, tonight? Or is it just simply focused straight away on tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Brilliant. Love these one-word answers. That's really great. But what, I mean, for me watching, it seemed like the conditions were kind of all over the place. At what point, was it engineers or was it the drivers that kind of made that decision to immediately go onto slicks?
The engineers, for sure. I mean, I thought to stay out, so thank God I didn't follow my instinct because I would have stayed out. So it's all thanks to the engineers.
Was it also your instinct in quali to stay on intermediates, but the engineers that said you should go on slicks?
No, I kind of wanted the slicks there. But to be fair, in the race, though, it's definitely, I was trying to stay out, so.
Well, congratulations to you both on your podium here in Spa, and back to you, Tom, in the studio.
Thank you so much, Nicola. There is your P3, P2. Freddie Rasmussen, P3. I can't wait to chat to him. P2 for Tom Manley, his teammate. But Ulas Oziljo, congratulations. Your first win in F1 sim racing. What does it feel like?
I'm very happy, obviously. Finally, I got my first win after a few podiums and few unfortunate events, I would say. It was a really hard race, especially with the rain. I had to pick up the pace a lot. I think I built a good gap in the end, but I wanted to help my teammate Tom by pitting later, so he got the undercut.
Yeah.
So it was a really good race for us.
And I tell you what, he was close. He wanted it. He wanted the race win as well.
Yeah.
And you are the first person, if I'm not mistaken, getting the first P2 for Racing Bulls as a team. And now you've got them their first race win. That must be extra special.
Yeah, it is really special. Finally, we can show what we can do this year. So we are really happy.
Do you feel like that's the kind of the vibe at the moment for Racing Bulls? You say finally showing what you're capable of. Is that what it feels like for you both?
Last year, especially, I was really good, and my teammate as well, but we also had so many unfortunate events in the races. But now it's so much better, like we can show what we can do, so we are happy about that.
Now, I know you're familiar with this gentleman over here, as he referred to this screen as the big iPad. Let's go there to the big iPad. Brendan, what did you make of that astonishing race and a first win for Racing Bulls?
Well, firstly, I have to say, Ulas is the biggest hunger in sim racing. He eats the most. I have many stories at airports of him having a huge appetite, and I'm happy his appetite for success has translated to a race win. So, yeah, talk me through, because you had phenomenal pace at the start of the race, pulled 3.6 seconds, and then actually decided to help your own teammate by going a lap longer, compromising what could have been an easy win to play the team game.
Yes, so I blew like 3.6 seconds gap, and I realized that even if I got overcut, it wasn't going to be enough for anybody. So Tom was P2 at that point, and he pitted, so I wanted to help him by getting him into the front and getting him to my DRS, so we could help each other. So it worked out very well in the end.
I mean, full respect to you, because I mean, I'm going to be honest, I probably wouldn't have thought that much in the race about my own teammate. So the fact that you're thinking that much for your team game really says a lot about you and your character. And I had the privilege of unofficially working with you as a teammate back in the day. So it's cool to see your success come through now.
Thank you very much.
I love this bromance at such a distance as well. I get to be right next to Ulas right now. Come on, Brendan. We're eagerly awaiting. What sort of things would you like to highlight from that race, the turning points maybe?
So basically the highlights, unfortunately not containing Ulas because he cleared off up the road.
Other things to worry about.
The first thing is going to be the battle between, we have Otis Lawrence and also Barry Burman, of course, on his return to F1 sim racing, trying to go around the outside, and as you can see, all the way touching the grass basically on his left-hand side tyres and then committing to the outside manoeuvre. To be honest, although it's low risk as you have quite a lot of runoff area on the inside of the track, as you can see here, if you go over it, then your move will be invalidated and the stewards will take it away from you. Thus, high commitment to stay around the outside, and as you can see, you're going to put it in slow motion. This is genius from Bari as well. I know it sounds biased because I'm wearing red, but as you're going to see, Bari recognises that Otis is going to go for the switchback, parks his car on the apex, and actually Otis is lucky to not pick up damage from that instant as an individual event. Bari was able to hold the position for the rest of that lap. The second thing I would like to talk about is actually team games in F1 esports. We have Nicolas Longuet staying out on the intermediates, unfortunately picked up damage on the first lap of the race, so was very much compromised. As you can see, everyone flooding out the pit lane on their dry compound tyres, some people on the hards, some people on the mediums, but defenceless up and over the hill, and you're going to see in a minute how much he's actually helping out his own teammate. Isolating Istvan Pukki behind him, as you can see with the DRS activated for his teammate, and he's going to move over out of the way and help his own teammate in the process. So this is a detail that many people might not pick up on firsthand, but really shows the teamwork that's happening behind the scenes. That isn't just Nicolas, that isn't just Istvan Pukki, but also the engineers working in harmony, side by side on the pit wall, and they're able to help each other out. Also, Fredrik Rasmussen and Tom Manley playing a smart game up ahead to not battle and to gain overall race time as well. So those were my two highlights and clips from the race.
Expertly done, and I've been told you're not coming back tomorrow for the two races we've got in Zandvoort and Kota. Maybe we'll have a word when we power down for the day, but great to have you on board. I'm curious to know, with you, what does it feel like to get that first win? Like I know flying the flag for Turkey in the past, we've had Cem Bulukbaşı or Bulukbaşı. What does it feel like for you as a fellow Turk and the sort of sim racing scene back home in Turkey?
I mean, especially after putting so much work in every day, like 8 hours, 9 hours every day, every single day, getting this win at my best track as well is a really special feeling for me and for everyone in Turkey as well. I'm thankful for them. They are very supportive. So I'm really happy about it, honestly. I have no words right now.
Well, listen, you don't need any more words because we have done with the big iPad, Brendan Lee's words, not mine. Come and sit over on the sofa. This is a brilliant moment as we join Nicola Hume over here in the sofa. It's a big moment, that first win, and I'm sure Brendan remembers his first win and potentially the last, and maybe all of them. But Chabula Russell, what's it like to be over here at the sofa now? Do you feel relaxed in any way, shape or form?
Finally being here feels good.
Not the easiest of interviews for Tom Manley and Freddie Rasmussen. And when I say not the easiest, because they're thinking about tomorrow. They're done with this now.
Yes, they are thinking about tomorrow. And it's a tricky one. I mean, Freddie is always very short on words anyway. That's just what he's like. It's my first time speaking to Tom Manley. But obviously, even though they both got on the podium, it still felt like a disappointment for them both. Although, really nice racing between the two of you right at the end there. I very much enjoyed it, and well done for holding your place because you absolutely smashed it, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Top stuff. Now, this is the moment of the show where we're coming to the end of our race around Spa and we'll be saying goodbye to you. However, there's a few things, penalties have been given out and some places dropped for Ruben Pedrena. We can see the clip now as we watch this. Brendan, what do you make of this? Just here,
ambitious down the inside, got a bit of a hip and shoulder from Jarno as well, but gaining the position off the circuit on the final lap of the race, final corner of the race, so you might as well go for it, otherwise you're going to be out of the points anyway.
Yeah, so dropping down to 213 for Ruben Pedrena, doing so well for the Aston Martin team, formerly of Williams, when we had that all-Spanish lineup. Top stuff. Thank you very much for entertaining us. Can I also say, great choice in glasses as well, Ulas. I'm just going to put it out there. Let's have a look at the race classification right now, as I give him a compliment, but stunning work from him. And so good to see Racing Bulls up there, 1-2. It's never happened before. And they've repeated that. P2, which we saw from Ulas earlier on this year in China. First race back at DreamHack. He's gone even better with that win there. And then Freddie Rasmussen keeping the Drivers' Championship alive, and there's your final classification. Right there, drivers' standings. What does it do for the points? I'm sure that's his 5th race out of a possible 7. What does it do for Ulas? Well, it moves him up to P4. What does that feel like right there?
It feels really good, but I'm not doing one race tomorrow. So I'll see how that goes. I'll just pray to not lose too many positions, I guess. Then do my best in the quota later on.
Yeah. All right, well, you're not potentially racing in one of them tomorrow, but Racing Bulls, where are they in the team standings? Well, going straight up to P3 from 6th, so breaking that 100-point mark as well. Stunning to see. I'm not saying Racing Bulls are anywhere near saying underdogs, but not seeing you get that first win before, it's truly special, Nicola.
Yeah, it feels truly special, and it feels like this is very much a teamwork situation, because as much as I was chatting to you after your pole position earlier, that you wanted to make a different decision during quali, but it was down to the engineers. This is 100% the team behind the scenes that you don't normally get to see. And it's all those decision making that happens that we don't hear, that we don't get to see, the decisions that you weren't making, but turned out to work really well in your favour.
I didn't want to go on the softs, but my engineer told me it's better, so I trusted him and it worked out.
See? Always listen to your engineer. That's what we're learning.
That is the theme of the day. It feels like Sesame Street in some respects. What have we learned? Let's have a look at the schedule because we are almost imminently saying goodbye to you because we all need to rest and come back. So do these drivers. We need to Ulas. We need to let him go back to his team, the team that's so important. We will have Zandvoort. We will also have Kota tomorrow. Brendan Lee, out of those two, we know how good you were around Kota, but what are you looking forward to? You won't be joining us, but to watch from home, what are you looking forward to tomorrow?
I like a bit of chaos, to be honest. And, well, Netherlands is always going to be a bit rainy, isn't it? So that's going to be a good race. And Kota being the final race of an event, people get a bit edgy, a bit punchy, and they get a bit spicy, especially turn 1 sends on lap 1. So I look forward to a bit of chaos.
He likes the spice, doesn't he?
He does. Tomorrow, Ulas, you will be back racing at some point tomorrow, one around those tracks, but I'm sure we'll find out when we get the details on that. But how do you reset, ready for tomorrow? How do you celebrate? Do you celebrate?
I mean, I'm just going to focus on tomorrow now. Just celebrate a little bit, I guess. Yeah. Eat something.
This is what you said after quali. I might eat something. Keep us poised on that. Well, listen, thank you so much and congratulations to us. Brendan Lee, thank you very much for joining us on what has been an extra special Spa. Nicola, thank you very much for getting the insight from the drivers. And to our commentary team, Alex Jakes and Kai Bicini. We'll be back tomorrow to go racing around Zandvoort. But once again, it's Ulas Özildirim. He is on the top spot. What a race. We'll see you tomorrow.